How strong is the Caped Baldy, the future S-Class hero, the One Punch Man, also known as Saitama? The main character of the popular shonen manga known as One Punch Man is a humble man named Saitama. Saitama was a seemingly average man that did a seemingly average training regimen but came across unbounded levels of strength. During the House of Evolution arc, we learn a little bit more about Saitama and how he's able to reach these levels of strength. A genius scientist tells us that intrinsically appearing on every living organism that there is limiters, and these limiters cannot be surpassed. These limiters are kind of like the defining variables of the food chain and kind of set every living organism up into a hierarchy. Luckily for our main man, Saitama, these limiters mean nothing to him as he has completely shattered them from a basic training regimen. Since the very first chapter of the One Punch Man manga, we can see alien-type creatures like Vaccine Man that come down onto Earth. These creatures are seemingly set up to be these unmatched beings of strength that cannot be toppled by anybody. Hero Association mixed in with all the people that are superpowered seem to be the outlier in this case because they are actually able to take down these supernatural beings. In the first 10 chapters, we can see someone named Marugori appear. Marugori is this man that was turned into a giant monster so they could reach the pinnacle of strength. His brother made a serum which was supposed to be steroids that ended up turning him into this massive beast, which Saitama one-punched. Right before Saitama one-punched him, he actually made a massive crater in the ground while attempting to kill Saitama. I have this feat anywhere from large town to city level. Since the very beginning of the manga, we can see that Saitama is completely unmatched in his power, and he pretty much just transcends everybody in the verse. No matter who comes up against him, no matter who he's compared to, he's always said to be better. The whole gag, as well as the whole joke behind Saitama, is that he's the strongest one that we've ever seen, yet he's in the C class for heroes. From the very beginning of the series, we can see that this joke gets played out in the fact that even people like Moomin Rider are higher ranked than him, even though they would get clapped in terms of an actual fistfight. One of the ongoing opponents that we see from our main character Saitama is someone named Speed of Sound Sonic. Ever since his debut, his speed has been highlighted in the highest fashion possible. We can see that he does perception blitzes that could get him to around Supersonic Plus or Mach 3, and that this is done very casually. Against everybody else, his speed is seemingly a problem and nobody else can even keep up with him. Even Genos at times not able to track him even though he's a cyborg that can see at enhanced speeds. But yet every single time he gets into an interaction with Saitama, there is no chance that he can beat him. Once we move a little bit deeper into the series and we start getting into the higher scaling, we get to our fight with Boros. Boros is a being of immense power that in a lot of ways is parallel to Saitama. He is someone that has never had a good fight and that can never find a good fight because he's just so strong. Now, Boros has this problem until, of course, he comes up against our main character, Saitama. We can see that throughout this fight, Saitama is absolutely getting smacked around, punched and kicked all over the place, but when we take a closer look at him, he's taken absolutely zero damage, and he doesn't seem to really mind or care. Once Boros sees that Saitama is taking virtually no damage from anything that he's doing, and he's not even fazed by it at all, he uses an attack that is called Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon. Now, Saitama takes this attack and absolutely obliterates it, punching it away, and pretty much killing Boros in the process. Due to him counteracting so much energy and him punching so hard, he's actually able to disperse the clouds in the area, which this can be calced anywhere from multi-continental to moon level. Keep in mind that Saitama did not take any damage from this fight, as well as he didn't really care about it, as it wasn't much of a challenge. Even Boros says later on that that wasn't him trying. As we move on to the Monster Association arc, we can see that there's a lot of power cliffing that had happened. We get introduced to a lot of characters who are a lot stronger and a lot faster. For example, we have people like the S-Class hero named Flashy Flash, who is said to be able to move at the speed of light. An S-Class hero known as Tatsumaki was shown in Season 1 to be a very big powerhouse, but we didn't actually get the full extent of what her strength was. We can see that she goes up against someone named Psychos in the Monster Association arc. But this was no normal Psychos, as Psychos had just fused with Monster King Orochi. As well as on top of that, she was actually spoken to by God and given powers. In the middle of this fight, she gets a little bit overwhelmed by Tatsumaki's strength, and she ends up using this attack that lifts up a massive disc of water. Given how much water she was actually able to displace in the time frame that she was able to do it, we can see this come out anywhere from multi-continental to small planetary. This, however, is not the end of where the scaling stops, as it gets so much greater and goes leaps and bounds higher. Later on in the series, we can see the emergence of someone that is called Cosmic Garou. Garou is just no normal being, as he was touched by God himself. The main ability that we can see Garou use inside of this cosmic form is actually replication technique. Now, this replication technique basically allows him to copy the strength as well as the exact movement of the person that he's fighting. Once the hero started to get involved, we can see that Genos actually makes an attempt at Garou's life. Now, Garou did not take any damage from this despite being caught off guard, and had no real reason to fight Genos, but he killed him anyways. After killing him, we can see that Saitama goes into a blind rage and uses his serious punch on Garou. But this serious punch was not anything normal, as Garou was able to copy the movements as Saitama, and he ends up doing a serious punch as well. The outcome of two serious punches clashing together we can see was called Serious Punch Squared. This attack is so devastating that we can see that the first ranked S-Class hero known as Blast, as well as his group, has to contain this massive amount of energy and send it off into the cosmos. Due to this redirection of energy, we can see that it ends up actually destroying a large amount of stars. This energy is so powerful and so massive that the release comes out to multi-galaxy level. Saitama is not finished growing though, as his fight continues on one of the moons of Jupiter named Io. We get the indication that Saitama is actually just constantly growing and constantly adapting and evolving. This is shown through things like him being able to breathe in space, as well as him being able to fly by seemingly just farting. These characters are not just immensely powerful, but they're also super fast. We can see that before the emergence of Monster Garou's final form known as Cosmic Garou, we can see that he's in his regular monster form and he's fighting someone named Platinum Sperm.
FBI, open up!
Before the final clashing between Monster Garou and Platinum, we can see that Flashy Flash was also a part of this interaction, but ended up being too slow and got kicked out. Garou and Platinum Sperm were moving so fast that they were painting the skies with the constellation. We get a stated time frame in the manga of 0.013 seconds. After tracing all the lines, we could find out that they were moving at 500 times the speed of light individually. Now, might I remind you that this is pre-Cosmic Garou, which means that Garou was way weaker than the one that Saitama actually ended up fighting and beating. The absolutely insurmountable strength of Saitama is nothing to scoff at, as he reaches multi-galaxy level attack potency, mixed with massively faster than light speeds.